Low vinyl whisper in the air, dusty rhythm settling there, screen glow fading at the edge, mind is hanging on a ledge. Low mid-tone, almost dry, words come out then pass me by, descending lines that slowly fall, like I'm leaning on the wall. Subtle bass and lazy loops, circles through the quiet room, half spoken, barely clear, thoughts don't fully appear. Breath slips out before the phrase, lost somewhere inside the haze. No sharp lift to pull me through, just the hum I'm sinking to. Static between thoughts again, trying to remember when focus felt a little bright. Now it drips out of sight, slow beat under tired eyes, soft decline in every line, warm but fading low and thin. Let me in, cursor blinking, time stretched wide, energy I cannot hide. Notes fall down in steady drops, like a clock that never stops. Vinyl crackles soft and slow, wraps around the undertow, breathy words that barely land, slip right through my hand. No resistance left to show, just a quiet undertow, half awake inside the sound, trying to stay bound. Static between thoughts again, losing track of where I've been, descending phrases soft and small, like I'm barely here at all. Slow groove pulling at my sleeve, telling me to just believe, warm and heavy, calm and dim, stay within. Low light leaning on the screen, everything in muted green. Mind moves slower than the beat, almost incomplete. Still I breathe and let it ride, let the fog sit at my side. Breathy tone, restrained and true, making it through. Soft crackle, distant drum, let the blood sensation come, half spoken, nearly gone, still I carry on. Static fading into flow, even if it's moving slow, descending lines begin to blend, till the focus finds its end. Warm and worn but holding on, through the drawn out song. Low hum under fading light, room feels smaller than my sight, minimal rhythm barely there, dust suspended in the air. Low mid-tone held inside, words move slow then quietly slide, electric tones in thin repeats, circle under tired beats. Eyes grow heavy, edges blur, thoughts reduced to just a stir, narrow melody up then down, never leaving this small ground. Breath is shallow, calm and long, nothing clearly right or wrong. Abalomik in each phrase, floating in a haze. Narrow light behind my eyes, soft decline that never tries. Repetition small and slow, let the muted currents flow. Warm and distant, close and thin, drifting somewhere deep within. No sharp rise to pull me through, only you. Screen glow washed in quiet gray, minutes stretching out in sway. Jitter layers softly spread, like a weight inside my head. Minimal rhythm taps the air, keeps a fragile focus there. Soft sustain that barely moves, tracing narrow grooves. No sudden spark, no sudden clear, just a tone that lingers near. Breath-led pacing, unforced sound, keeps me loosely bound. Narrow light behind my eyes, soft decline that never tries. Repetition small and slow, let the muted currents flow. Warm and distant, close and thin, drifting somewhere deep within. No sharp rise to pull me through, only you. Staying close to ground, nothing bold in what I found. Even phrases short and plain, looping once again. Not asleep and not aware, just suspended in this air. Warm, restrained and softly worn, till a clearer thought is born. Electric shimmer, dim and low, as the quieter minutes go. Subtle pulse and softened view carry through. Narrow light begins to fade, lines in smaller circles made. Repetition calm and true, holding everything I do. Warm and steady, thin but clear, still I'm here. Dusty rhythm, low and slow, faint hum underneath the glow. Hands above the waiting keys, moving as they please. Low, mid, warm, almost dry. Words arrive, then drift aside. Gentle downward melody falls so quietly. Soft keys tracing tired lines, loops that blur the edge of time. Ambient air, thin and wide, keeps the drift inside. Breath measured, slow release, focus thinning piece by piece. No sharp lift to pull me high, just a muted sigh. Soft decline across the screen, working somewhere in between. Slowly falling line by line, losing track of time. Lo-Fi pulse beneath my hands, barely holding what I planned. Warm and distant, low and true, moving through. Light taps echo in the room, not too dark and not in bloom. Eyes half open, mind half there, floating in the air. Letters form, then hesitate, thoughts that almost articulate. Relaxed phrasing, steady breath, nothing left. No resistance, no surprise, only narrow, heavy eyes. across the screen, working somewhere in between, slowly falling line by line, losing track of time. Lo-Fi pulse beneath my hands, barely holding what I planned, warm and distant, low and true, moving through. Focus wavers then returns, in the way the pattern turns, gentle fall and slight release, searching for a little peace. Not asleep but not aware, just suspended in the air, restrained and lightly worn, till attention's reborn. Dusty rhythm softened air, keeps the fading focus there, controlled breath and lowered tone, carry on. Soft decline then steady ground, quiet motion in the sound, downward lines that blur the view, still I follow through. Warm and muted, slow and true, that's enough to carry through. Dust along the air, faint bass resting there, screen glow steady, pale and white, nothing much inside. Low mid warm, barely raised, voice moving through a haze, flatline sitting in my chest, neither more nor less. Lifted tones in narrow frame, every note almost the same, mid-low register held tight, color drained of light, breath close to the mic, soft and unalike, no strong rise, no deep fall, just a tone that covers all. Low resolution mind, nothing sharp to find, staring at a silent glow, letting minutes go, soft bass under steady air, blank expression there, near monotone, close and true, seeing through. Cursor blinking, small and plain, looping like a quiet refrain. Thoughts don't form or break apart, they hover then depart. Vinyl texture, faint and slow, like a distant undertow. Hands unmoving for a while, no complaint, no smile, no distraction, no surprise. Heavy calm behind my eyes, even breath and lowered sound keep me grounded. Low resolution mind, nothing sharp to find, staring at a silent glow, letting minutes go, soft bass under steady air, blank expression there, near monotone, close and true, seeing through. Flat melody, mid and low, minimal emotion shown, sleepy tone but still awake, just enough to stay. No dramatic shift in view, no intense or vivid hue, intermittent, slightly worn, till a spark is born. Vinyl whisper, distant hum, let the quiet settle numb, close mic breath and simple tone on its own. Low resolution stays through these faded days, flatline drifting slow and true, carrying me through, near monotone, calm and clear. Still I'm here, curtains back, ceiling white, dust in circles slowly glide. Lo-fi grooving soft and sway, pulls the sharper thoughts away. Low, mid, warm, barely there, voice dissolving in the air. Electric tones in faded rings, looping small unfinished things. Slow structure, round and low, nothing urgent left to show. Pad expanding thin and pale, like a half-forgotten trail. Breath settles in the mic, unforced and alike. Minimal emphasis and sound keeps the blur out. Tilted hour drifting slow, let the looping patterns flow. Midday blur behind my eyes, heavy light that never tries. Warm and muted, soft and low, no sharp edges left to show. Calm and steady, thin but true, floating through. Screen glow leaning out of frame, everything reduced to same. Subtle bass beneath the tone makes this quiet space my own. Hands rest idle for a beat, heartbeat matching gentle repeat. Soft articulation stays lost inside the haze. No dramatic lift or fall, just a steady undertow call. Breath-led pacing low and plain, circles once again. Tilted hour drifting slow, let the looping patterns flow. Midday blur behind my eyes, heavy light that never tries. Warm and muted, soft and low, no sharp edges left to show. Calm and steady, thin but true, floating through. Gradually the focus bends, not quite gone, not quite intense. Slow return in narrow range, nothing feels to change. Sleepy tone but still aware, lingering in open air. Restrained and lightly worn, till the next thought is born. Lo-fi groove and distant hum, let the softer moments come. Soft articulation, breath and tone hold their own. Tilted hour and steady view, loops that carry me through. Slow and muted, warm and low, let the gentle current flow. Calm and quiet, thin but true, that's enough to move me through. Slow beat tapping under air, low light resting everywhere. Headed bass and steady line, holding space and time. Low mid warmth, barely strong, voice moving along. Soft chords falling one by one, like a day half done. Balanced phrases drifting down, no sharp edge, no sudden sound. Breath-led words that almost fade in the shade. Energy is soft and pace, nothing I need to chase. Smooth, sustained, and narrow tone keeps the center known. Quiet current running low, let the downward patterns flow. Low energy, calm inside, like like a slow and gentle tide. Nothing urgent in the air, only muted layers there. Warm and steady, soft and true, working through. Hands move slow across the keys, not with force but ease. Muted bass beneath the line keeps the rhythm fine. Screen glow faint against my eyes. Thoughts arrive in smaller size. Smooth delivery, low and plain. Circles once again. No dramatic rise to hold, no bright spark of gold. Breath and tone and steady frame sound the same. Quiet current running low, let the downward patterns flow. Low energy calm inside, like a slow and gentle tide. Nothing urgent in the air, only muted layers there. Warm and steady, soft and true, working through. Sleepy edges in my view, still I follow through. Balance fall in every phrase, softened in a haze. Not asleep but drifting near, sounds are clearer here. Restrained and lightly worn, till attention's reborn. Slow beat under muted tone makes this quiet space my own. Breath-led line and lowered sound keep me grounded. Quiet current, steady flow. Downward lines that move slow. Low energy, warm and true. Carrying what I do. Soft and simple, calm and clear. Still I'm here. Final whisper thin and dry, low hum drifting by. Office walls in muted gray, sound dissolves the day. Low mid warmth held in place, voice moving at an even pace. Lo-fi keys and looping lines trace the edges of my mind. Ambient layer, white and pale, like a quiet, steady trail. Mid-range phrases, small repeat, circle underneath. No sharp lift and no decline, just a flat and steady line. Soft and measured how I move inside the groove. Stillness in the room, slow and understeady bloom. Repetition calm and low, let the subtle textures flow. Nothing pressing from outside, only sound in my side. Warm and muted, steady, true, carrying through. Screen light faint against the wall, shadows barely shift at all. Vinyl noise in quiet waves, like the echo something gave. Breath aligned with softened tone makes this silent space my own. Sleepy edges in my sight blur the light. No dramatic spark or turn, nothing bright enough to burn. Soft pacing, unforced sound keeps me grounded. Stillness in the room, slow and understeady bloom. Repetition calm and low, let the subtle textures flow. Nothing pressing from outside, only sound at my side. Warm and muted, steady, true, carrying through. shadows and gentle arcs. No sharp contrast, no bright marks. Low restraint in every phrase settles in the haze. Not asleep but barely wide. Let the drifting thoughts reside. Mid-range loop and soften view. Hold it through. Lo-fi keys and distant air leave a quiet imprint there. Steady pacing, breath and tone on their own. Stillness in this fading hue. Repetition pulling through. Low and warm and even flow. Let the muted current go. Soft and steady, calm and true. That's enough to move me through. Soft glow washing over skin. Low bass settling in. Subtle rhythm thin and slow. Nowhere left to go. Low mid warmth almost dry. Flat tone passing by. Electric chords and muted lines looping through the mind. Thumb moves down without a thought. Every image lightly caught. Minimal change in melody, just monotony. Breath close to the mic. Nothing sharp alike. Slow contour that barely bends. Never truly ends. Scrolling through a quiet haze. Detached in softened grace. Slow descending, narrow view. Nothing vivid coming through. Soft bass under steady air. Blank expression there. Warm and distant, calm and low. Let it flow. Faces blur into a stream. Half remembered dream. Subtle rhythm tapping on, though attention's gone. Close mic whisper barely clear. Sound feels closer than the ear. Minimal variation stay. Through these days displays no bright spark to pull me in. No clear loss or win. Flat delivery, even breath hovering beneath. Scrolling through a quiet haze. Detached in softened grace. Slow descending, narrow view. Nothing vivid coming through. Soft bass under steady air. Blank expression there. Warm and distant, calm and low. Let it flow. Restrained in every word. Nothing sharply heard. Mid-range line that hardly moves. Tracing shallow grooves. Not unhappy, not aware. Just suspended there. Sleepy tone and lowered sight. Fading light. Electric shimmer, distant hum. Let the blurred sensation come. Soft and steady, thin and true. Carry through. Scrolling in a muted glow. Watching moments come and go. Slow contour and quiet hue. Nothing Lo-fi drum and quiet taps, dusty air in tiny gaps, clock hands moving small and slow, I'm being undertow. Low mid warmth, eyes half closed, every second overexposed, busy chords in tire rings, barely holding things, slow descending hook again, like a line that won't ascend, control tone, no strain to show, energy running low, breath steady, thin and light, watching hours lose their height, no sharp change to rearrange, just a fading range, numbers falling one by one, waiting for the day to be done, soft exhaustion in my chest, trying to look my best, descending line slow and true, nothing urgent left to do, warm and quiet, low and dim, time grows thin, screen grow pale against my face, minutes stretching out in place, lo-fi drums in gentle repeat, dragging at my feet, I'm being layer wide and gray, pulls the sharper thoughts away, flat restrained in every phrase, lost inside the haze, no bright spark to hold me high, just a steady sigh, low tension in my tone, counting on my own, numbers falling one by one, waiting for the day to be done, soft exhaustion in my chest, trying to look my best, descending line slow and true, nothing urgent left to do, warm and quiet, low and dim, time grows thin. Not asleep, but nearly there, heavy silence in the air, hook returning low and round, circling the sound, controlled breath and lowered gaze, trapped inside the day, sleepy warmth but holding through till the hours are few, knitted tones and dusty beat, keep the rhythm incomplete, slow decline and soften view, carry through, numbers fading almost gone, still I'm leaning on, soft exhaustion, calm and low, let the final minutes flow, descending hook steady and true, I'll make it through. Dust along the air, low groove resting there, soft keys blur the edge of sound, slowly spinning round, low mid warm, barely awake, thoughts untied begin to break, floating narrow melody, move so quietly, breathy words that almost fade in a half lit shade. hold in place. Mind dissolves its shape, restrained tone, controlled release. Searching for a little peace. Loose orbit in my head, quiet things unsaid. Narrow movement up and down, like a feather to the ground. Warm and distant, soft and slow. Let the wandering go. Nothing sharp and nothing new, just a view. Screen glow washed in muted gray. Minutes sliding away. Vinyl whisper thin and dry. Follows like a sigh. Hand still resting near the keys. Now with force but ease. Breath-led phrasing low and plain. Circles once again. No direction to defend. No beginning, no clear end. Floating lines that barely bend. Slow descent. Loose orbit in my head. Quiet things unsaid. Narrow movement up and down, like a feather to the ground. Warm and distant, soft and slow. Let the wandering go. Nothing sharp and nothing new, just a view. Almost never heard. Sleepy tone but still aware. Suspended in air. Not asleep and not engaged. Like an unwritten page. Drifting in a muted hue till focus breaks through. Soft keys fading into hum. Let the blurred sensation come. Breathe ye close and lightly worn till a thought is born. Loose orbit, slow and true. Floating into view. Narrow phrases calm and low. Let the subtle current flow. Warm and muted, thin but clear. Still I'm here. Dust in the speakers, low and dry. Slow beat barely passing by. Sub bass under quiet air. Nothing sharp or clear. Low mid warmth, almost gone. Trying to hold on. Descending line in narrow space. Sliding out of place. Chords repeat in muted rings. Half-formed thoughts and broken strings. Breath heavy in the mic, soft and alight. Eyes fixed on the glowing frame. Every minute feels the same. Minimal emphasis in tone. Losing what was known. Fading signal in my head. Words unsaid, slow decline. Every phrase blurred in a haze. Soft sub-bass beneath my chest. Trying to do my best. Warm and distant, low and thin. Focus wearing thin. Vinyl whisper thin and white. Pulls the edges to the side. Beat so slow it almost stops. Like the ticking drops. Hands move but the mind drifts far. Lost in where we are. breath-led pacing, quiet, small, barely there at all. No clear lift to bring me back, energy I lack, narrow fall in every tone on my own. Fading signal in my head, words unsaid, slow decline in every phrase, blurred in a haze. Soft sub-bass beneath my chest, trying to do my best, warm and distant, low and thin, focus wearing thin. Low restraint in every sound, nothing firmly bound, sleepy voice restrained and flat, almost losing track. Still I sit and let it ride, let the drift subside, controlled breath and lowered view pulling through. Dusty chords and distant drum, let the quiet come, breath and tone in narrow fall, almost nothing at all. Fading signal, soft and slow, let the downward current go. Narrow phrases, calm and true, carry what I do. Warm and muted, thin but clear, still I'm here. Soft light on the office wall, low groove barely there at all. Red hair and silver hue, nothing sharp comes through. Low mid warmth held in place, my note tone across my face, electric tones and level lines looping through the mind. Flat mid range, round and slow, circling below, net its pad in quiet spread, fog inside my head, breath close to the mic, soft and alike, no strong lift, no deep release, only steady peace. Hazy loop around my side, soft sun fading into white, mid-range circles slow and true, nothing breaking through. Warm and distant, low and plain, repetition once again, quiet tone and softened view, carry through. Desk in pale and gentle glow, minutes moving slow, light groove tapping underneath, like a shallow breath. Eyes half focus, almost still, resting without will, flat delivery, narrow tone, makes this space my own. No dramatic spark or sound, no sharp rises found, soft monotone and steady flow, let the dullness show. Hazy loop around my sight, soft sun fading into white, mid-range circles slow and true, nothing breaking through. Warm and distant, low and plain, repetition once again, quiet tone and softened view, carry through. Sleepy edges blur the frame, everything the same, low restraint in every word, almost never heard. Still the groove continues on, till the haze is gone, breathe and tone in muted hue, staying true. Electric shimmer, distant hum. Let the quiet come. Close mic warmth and level line. Mark the time. Hazy loop, calm and slow. Flat phrases come and go. Mid-range circles, soft and true. Nothing pushing through. Warm and muted, low and clear. Still I'm here. Carry through. Vinyl dust and lazy spin. Low bass moving from within. Soft keys hanging in the air. Nothing urgent there. Low mid warm, shoulders wide. Leaning back, I let it slide. Slow rise in a narrow tone. Falls back down on its own. Ceiling lines above my sight. Blur against the muted light. Breath released in steady waves. Calm that slowly caves. Arms extend and settle low. Energy moves slow. Controlled breath and soft in sound. Keep me grounded. Slow stretch through the quiet air. Calm heaviness everywhere. Rise a little then descend. Like a line that doesn't end. Warm and weighted, soft and low. Let the drifting current flow. Nothing sharp and nothing new. Pulling through. Pulling through. Vinyl whisper faint and dry. Passing like a sigh. Subtle bass beneath the frame. Everything the same. Back against the chair again. Thoughts released and drifting thin. I like spacing, even tone. Makes this pause my own. No sudden spark to rearrange. No dramatic change. Slow contour and lowered view. See me through. Slow stretch through the quiet air. Calm heaviness everywhere. Rise a little then descend. Like a line that doesn't end. Warm and weighted, soft and low. Let the drifting current flow. Nothing sharp and nothing new. Pulling through. Pulling through. Gradually I lean ahead. Clear the fog inside my head. Low restraint in every phrase. Still inside the haze. Sleepy tone but steady still. Following a gentle will. Rise and fall in muted hue. Simple and true. Soft keys fading into hum. Let the quiet settle numb. Breath let line in steady flow. Keep it low. Slow stretch in the fading light. Heavy, calm but holding tight. Rise and fall, restrained and true. Carrying what I do. Warm and steady, low and clear. Still I'm here. Still I'm here. Slow groove tapping under glass. Soft glow drifting past. Ambient layers pale and thin. Let the pause begin. mid-warmth, almost said, half a thought inside my head. Ethnic chords and shallow loops, tracing quiet roots. Thumb moves down without a need, faces blur into a feed. Minimal contour, flat and slow, nowhere left to go. Breath close to the mic, soft and alike. No lift, no clear descent, just a small event. Idle motion on the screen, somewhere in between. Load and air, your line, let the seconds slide. Warm detachment in my chest, neither worst nor best. Repetition, calm and low, let it flow. Ambient pad behind the glow, colors moving slow. Zen rhythm underneath, barely more than breath. Near spoken words that barely land, slip right through my hand. Nothing vivid, nothing loud, just a passing cloud. No clear spark to pull me in, no obvious win. Flat delivery, even pace, holding space. Idle motion on the screen, somewhere in between. Load and low, narrow line, let the seconds slide. Warm detachment in my chest, neither worst nor best. Repetition, calm and low, let it flow. Pause almost becomes a drift, thoughts refuse to live. Sleepy tone but still aware, floating there. And then the groove pulls me back into the waiting track, restraining lightly worn till the next task is born. Suited chords and distant hum, let the quiet come near. Spoken line and lower tone on its own. Idle motion fades from view, nimble and true. Narrow phrases, soft and low, let the subtle current go. Warm and muted, calm and clear. Still I'm here. Low groove under steady light, dust and silver white. I'm being washed across the wall, barely moving at all. Low, mid, warmth, close and dry, half a whisper passing by. Mystic chords and shallow swing, not attached to anything. Screen glow resting in my hand, images I never planned. Minimal contour, small repeat, circling the beat. Breathe near, almost still, no strong push of will. Even tone without a rise, quiet in my eyes. Soft autoplay in my head, words unsaid, scrolling past a fading hue. the quiet motion flow near, spoken thin and true, passing through an ambient layer, pale and white, soft distraction at my side, slow groove tapping out of time like a half-formed rhyme. Faces blur then disappear, nothing drawing near. Low diurnal flattened plane, looping once again. No bright spark to rearrange, no dramatic change. Controlled breath and lowered tone on its own. Soft autoplay in my head, words unsaid, scrolling past a fading hue. Nothing fully new, warm detachment, calm and low. Let the quiet motion flow near, spoken thin and true, passing through. Extends a little more, eyes drift to the floor. Sleepy warmth but still awake, no big move to make. Then the groove returns in place, shifting pace, restrained and lightly worn, till attention's reborn. Lyric chords and distant hum, let the silence come, soft articulation, steady view, carry through. Carry through. Autoplay fades away into the rest of day.